It's now open for Q&A. We'll start with the local media first. Yes. First row. Yes, in the middle, please.
Datuk Seri Sofia Ahmad daripada Bertarian. Australia dah mengumumkan bajet sebanyak 83 juta Australian dollar. Adakah itu kos keseluruhan? Bagaimana pula dengan kos Malaysia? Dan adakah rakan-rakan kita di luar sana yang ada membantu daripada segi kewangan?
Bajet yang diumumkan oleh Australia merupakan ceiling. Ia bukan merupakan jumlah yang sebenar. Ini sebahagian daripada keperluan undang-undang yang ada di Australia. Keduanya, saya dah nyatakan dahulu dalam fasa baru ni, kalau sebelum ini tidak ada perkiraan dari segi jumlah kos untuk adil kepada Australia, penting untuk kita kongsi bersama apa jua keperluan untuk lihat ke hadapan. Tetapi jumlah yang sepatutnya dibiayai oleh Malaysia belum dapat kita tentukan lagi, kerana yang penting ialah pertamanya untuk mengenal pasti lokasi yang perlu kita cari, kedua aset yang diperlukan, ketiga aset-aset yang boleh dibekalkan mungkin daripada kerajaan atau daripada pihak tentera yang tidak menyentuh kepada commercial consideration. Dan akhir sekali saya boleh mengesahkan bahawa ada pihak-pihak ketiga yang telah menunjukkan kesanggupan mereka untuk membantu kalau sekiranya carian ini memerlukan pembiayaan lebih daripada apa kemampuan kita. Tetapi saya nak tekankan di sini, dengan jumlah yang ada ini kita akan teruskan carian kita dan lebih ramai tampil ke hadapan, lebih cepat atau lebih efektif kemampuan kita untuk memastikan kejayaan. Sebab itu saya harap bahawa kerjasama daripada pihak-pihak ketiga yang kita lihat di peringkat fasa pertama, kedua dalam SAR ini akan sama juga komitmen dalam fasa baru ini. Ya.
Kan pihak ketiga tu?
Yang pihak ketiga belum saya boleh umumkan, tetapi saya esok akan ke UAE bersama-sama dengan Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri, dan awal minggu depan ada perjumpaan dan mesyuarat Menteri-Menteri Pertahanan ASEAN di Myanmar, dan seperti semua maklum, dalam 2 minggu lagi Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri akan membuat lawatan rasmi ke China. Jadi semua ini akan diambil kira dan saya percaya bahawa perkara MH370 ini akan dibincangkan di semua lawatan-lawatan berkenaan.
Okay, next question please. Yes, Madam.
Datuk Seri, saya Salina daripada TV3. Datuk Seri, saya nak tanya, memandangkan apa yang telah difokuskan tadi adalah misi pencarian yang lebih kepada kawasan di dalam laut, kita nak tahu berapakah jumlah AUV sebenarnya yang dikerahkan buat ketika ini, dan bagaimana dengan perkembangan ping yang pertama dalam operasi mencari?
Berhubung kait dengan maklumat ping tadi, itu merupakan lead yang terbaik yang kita ada. Dan dengan Ocean Shield dan Bluefin 21 yang sedia ada, tumpuan difokuskan kepada kawasan-kawasan ping yang belum kita membuat carian. Ping pertama yang kita buat tu bersandarkan kepada signal yang paling kuat pada ketika itu. Tetapi dalam fasa baru ni, penting pakar-pakar yang sekarang ni berada di Canberra untuk mengenal pasti bersama-sama dengan Inmarsat dan pakar-pakar lain untuk menentukan lokasi yang sebenarnya supaya aset-aset yang sedia ada ini dapat dikerahkan. Dan kalau sekiranya lebih banyak aset dapat kita kumpulkan, lebih cepat tempoh dan juga gerakan yang boleh kita lakukan. Ini sedang diaturkan sekarang. Tetapi yang paling penting sekarang ni, selepas perjumpaan kita di Canberra, ialah untuk menentukan struktur daripada 3 negara ni dapat kita tetapkan supaya perjalanan kita ni tidak ada kekangan dalam kita melihat ke hadapan.
Okay. Local media, anybody else? Yes, please. Could somebody? Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Sulin
Hi.
from Astrawani. Has the investigation team looked into Joe residents' claim about the missing plane that was said to be in the Bay of Bengal? And also now that we are entering 69 days already and nothing has been found in that area, are you planning to comb the area again, or are you looking into searching the other area?
In fact, the Bay and Bengal issue, we have used and asked the assistance of the Bangladeshi military and also some assistance from India. And as announced earlier, we have not found anything. Right now, if you want to go into more detailed search, it will involve commercial assets. And we have vessels that are able to do it, but that will be at the expense of time spent for the search, and secondly, it's going to be expensive. So in deciding whether we're going to go further into speculation on the Bay of Bengal, I'll leave it to the experts to advise me accordingly, because it's going to cost money, it's going to affect the operations on the next phase, and who is going to be responsible if at the end of the search, the results are negative.
Yes, please.
Assalamualaikum Datuk Seri dan Datuk sekalian. Soalan ni basically berkenaan teknikal. Sebagaimana kita maklum, pada pesawat Boeing 777 ada 5 lokasi di mana ELT diletakkan. Boleh tak kami tahu basically buatan mana ELT tersebut? Adakah buatan Honeywell ataupun company Artex? Terima kasih.
Saya tak ada apa informasi kan. Jadi informasi tersebut boleh kita bagikan dalam semasa sedekat ini. Saya tak nak bagi tahu apa-apa yang saya tak berapa pasti. Jadi kita akan pastikan pembuat ELT tersebut akan beritahu kepada media secepat mungkin. Terima kasih.
Okay. Yes, please, sir.
Assalamualaikum Datuk.
Waalaikumsalam.
Ismail dari Bernama. Okay, ada 2 soalan. Yang pertama, ada laporan mengatakan masih ada keluarga-keluarga mangsa dari negara China yang berada di hotel Equatorial Bangi. Jadi adakah laporan tersebut betul, dan sekiranya betul, siapakah yang membiayai mereka pada masa sekarang? Dan soalan kedua, terdapat banyak desakan yang meminta untuk pihak MAS untuk mengeluarkan raw data, information on raw satellite data dari Masat, dan saya difahamkan informasi tersebut buat masa ini tidak boleh dikeluarkan, dirilis. Tetapi ada kemungkinan tak untuk pihak MAS atau pihak Datuk sendiri untuk tampil dan memberi penjelasan dan educate kami rakyat awam ni bagaimana dengan decision ataupun announcement yang mengatakan flight path ended at Southern Indian Ocean tu boleh dilakukan, dan macam mana they came to that finding. So kurang-kurangnya untuk meyakinkan kami bahawa informasi tersebut adalah benar. Terima kasih.
Pertamanya, berhubung kait dengan keluarga daripada China, setahu saya tidak ada. Tetapi wakil daripada jawatan kuasa yang telah pun diwujudkan, Datuk Hamzah, tak dapat bersama hari ini. Biarlah mereka mengesahkan apa yang ditanya tadi. Berhubung kait dengan raw data daripada Masat, seperti apa yang Angus Houston telah menyatakan baru-baru ini di Canberra, bahawa raw data ni tidak berada di dalam tangan MAS atau Malaysia ataupun Australia. Ianya berada di dalam tangan Inmarsat. Jadi apa jua perkara yang perlu disahkan atau perlu didedahkan, ianya hanya boleh didedahkan oleh Inmarsat itu sendiri.
Okay. Yes, please.
Sri Tan dari Guangming, nak tanyakan setakat manakah perbincangan kerajaan dengan those company syarikat seperti Petronas, Baustit, mereka tu?
Okay. Right.
Perbincangan di antara kita dengan pihak Petronas dan beberapa syarikat-syarikat yang lain seperti DevTech, Sapura Kencana sedang pun berjalan dengan begitu lancar, dan ada setakat ini Petronas telah memberikan komitmen yang bersungguh-sungguh untuk memberikan sekurang-kurangnya 2 set alat AUV untuk membantu operasi pencarian ini.
Yes, we'll have the last question from the local there before we move to the foreign media.
Selamat petang Datuk Seri, saya Mary daripada Bilik Berita. Saya ada 2 soalan Datuk Seri. Kita sudah tahu semalam Perdana Menteri Seri meminta pengawal selia penerbangan antarabangsa yang memasang pengesan masa sebenar. Jadi adakah ada tak pihak kementerian setakat ini menerima maklum balas daripada penerbangan antarabangsa sendiri, terutama dari pihak komersial? Yang kedua berkenaan dengan resignations staff MAS yang 300 orang itu, mungkin sebab kita tahu MAS adalah Kementerian Seri pun sudah tahu peletakan jawatan 300 staff MAS.
Mana?
Boleh ulang balik tak dua-dua soalan tadi?
Okey, yang pertama semalam, Perdana Menteri sendiri meminta pengawal selia penerbangan antarabangsa memasang pengesan masa sebenar semalam. Okey, ada tak pihak kementerian menerima maklum balas daripada pihak penerbangan antarabangsa semalam? Dan yang kedua adalah berkenaan dengan peletakan 300 staf MAS. Itu saja.
Yang peletakan jawatan MAS tu kita tunggu AJ hadir dalam PC kita, tetapi yang soalan pertama tu
dalam soalan pertama tu, pihak International Civil Aviation Organization ada menganjurkan 2 hari conference di Montreal untuk melihat atau untuk they try to establish the real time tracking of commercial aircraft atau real time jangka masa yang sepatutnya untuk aircraft commercial. Dan dalam laporan tersebut ICAO ada mengumumkan satu pasukan, satu task force untuk melihat bagaimana perkara ini dapat dipraktikkan, dapat dilakukan, dapat digunakan oleh commercial aircraft. Jadi belum lagi ada keputusan muktamad, belum lagi ada direktif yang dikeluarkan oleh ICAO. Dia masih lagi sedang mengkaji perkara ini dengan sedalamnya. Dan Malaysia pun ada menyatakan satu recommendation, safety recommendation dalam our preliminary report yang kita keluarkan yang dihantar kepada ICAO. Terima kasih.
Okay, now we'll go to the foreign media. Okay, last question from you.
Okay, I'm Tasnim from NST. Okay, how did the team determine the exact details, including latitude in the details you released? Because it was said before, MH370 was just a communication satellite, and that was why it could only reveal the path, right? Not south or north. Did you have any questions? Okay, I'll repeat it. How did the investigation team determine the exact details, including the latitude in the details that was released before? Because MH370 is only a communication satellite, right? So you can't determine whether it's going north or south.
But the information from MSET was later confirmed, and this is from my press releases, by all the other agencies, NTSB, AAIB, CAAC. These confirmed the findings, but the issue on MSET right now is not about the decision. It is about revealing the raw data. And as Angus Houston mentioned earlier in Canberra 2 days ago, the raw data is with Inmarsat, not with Malaysia, not with Australia, not with MAS. So if there is any request for this raw data to be made available to the public, it must be made to Inmarsat.
Okay, now we go to the foreign. Yes, sir. Could somebody please pass the mic over to him, please? Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Minister.
Good evening.
I'll seek your indulgence with 2 questions. One is just an English translation of the role or the help that you're going to get from Sapura Kencana and from Petronas. I'm sorry, the minister said it in Malay, and I'm sorry we couldn't really understand what kind of help these two companies are going to give you in the search.
Actually, what was offered by particularly by Petronas, they are now looking at sonar and also ROV to be deployed as the Malaysian assets. Then, of course, Sapura Kencana is also offering the multi-beam echo sounder. That will be still under our consideration. And with that, after evaluation and also tender, then we will know which asset will be deployed.
But following the sequence that has been decided between the three nations, China, Australia, and Malaysia, our transition phase would be to concentrate on the bathymetric survey of the ocean floor and additional autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, and also now the deep water towed side scan sonar, which is available and in the hands of very few. And this is something that I will be discussing with the United States. And in the end of the month, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be raising that with Secretary Hagel when I meet him in Singapore during the Shangri-La Dialogue.
And my second question, if I may, is on the future of Malaysia Airlines itself. It's been more than 2 months, and obviously the airline is not doing very well financially. The earnings have just been announced. What assistance, what financial assistance is the Malaysian government ready to provide to MAS for its recovery process?
Financial assistance of the government to MAS.
I think as far as MAS is concerned, that's covered, and that's already mentioned to the next of kin. I think they are in the process of disbursing some of the advancement.
No.
I didn't quite catch your question.
No, I'm sorry. This is regarding the future of the airline itself.
No. Whether there is a Malaysian assistance to MAS? Malaysian government's assistance to MAS? No.
That's right.
Okay. Next, please. Yes, in front here.
Hi, Dato Sri.
Hi.
I'm Yin Ling from CCTV. Dato Sri, I got two. We understand a group of experts is reanalyzed the Inmarsat data. So far, there any new outcome? And the second question was, after the meeting in Canberra, so far the SAR team, which Malaysia, Australia, and China, is still believe the flight was ended in South China, India. Thank you.
That is why the meeting in Canberra was so important, to get these three countries to work seamlessly together. And the analysis, the work includes available data to confirm the best search area, the acquisition of bathymetric analysis capability to survey the search area, the acquisition of subsurface search assets to scan the entire agreed search area, which requires us to look back at the data that is available. And this is work in progress. And because it involves three nations and it involves all the experts, so it's very unlikely that any speculation that we are not transparent on, that we are not using the best data available can be thrown or alleged at the parties concerned. So since last week, it is very important for us to get the structure in place, as I answered in Malay, in Bahasa just now, to get the structure in place, both in Malaysia and in Canberra, because they're moving the operations from Perth to Canberra. And it's also to the linking up between the three nations, so that whatever information that we reveal on the issue of analyzing again the data that's available, whether it's satellite, whether it is radar, whether it is based on ping signals, that is, goes out in real time, goes out with confirmation and verification by the three countries that are involved directly with the experts' involvement, which I believe is already ongoing right now.
Okay. Yes, please, sir.
Good afternoon, Dato Sri.
Afternoon.
I'm Juha from CCTV.
Hi.
Are you going to China with the Prime Minister Najib? And what will you be discussing with the Chinese authorities about the next phase of search and rescue? Thank you.
Yes, as you know, the visit to China is really to commemorate and to celebrate 40 years of bilateral diplomatic relations between Malaysia and China. And of course, we cannot avoid the issue of MH370. I believe that our Prime Minister will be meeting up with all the leadership in China. And I think the main issue right now is really not on the issue of the next of kin, which has been resolved structure-wise. And that's with the cooperation of the Chinese government, and I have to thank them for that cooperation. It's really the next phase, which is the deployment of assets. And this is something that requires the very highest level of leadership between the two prime ministers to discuss what sort of assets that the Chinese government would deploy. Secondly, what commercial entities in China could assist us in deploying in the next phase. And finally, the research institutes in China that have got these assets, but these are very specific, and I think that will be part of the discussions that is going to take place. And yes, I am going with the Prime Minister.
Yes, on that corner, please. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Minister. Richard Paddock with the Wall Street Journal.
Hi.
The documents released by the government nearly 2 weeks ago revealed a high degree of miscommunication and confusion among the civilian air controllers, the military radar operator, and the airlines. First, have you taken any disciplinary action in this regard? And second, what steps have you taken to ensure that this kind of miscommunication does not occur again?
Well, I think let the investigations take place. I've just received the latest reports on internal investigations by the Air Force. We've got this panel of experts investigation, and as far as Wall Street Journal is concerned, our Prime Minister gave you an exclusive only a few days ago. So basically, I think that answers basically what you've asked.
Okay, one last question. Yes, Mani. Good, thank you. Could you pass him another mic, please? Thank you.
Money from Bloomberg. Do you have any idea how much of money Malaysia has spent so far?
How much? What?
How much of money has Malaysia spent so far?
To be honest and to be very candid, and I'm very touched, hardly anything. Considering nearly the whole fleet of P3 Orions, the Illusion from China and the Poseidon, the P8s, the vessels ranging from the icebreaker Zulong at the first phase. I think as far as Malaysia, what we have incurred is only the cost of deploying our military assets, which are already there already. So basically, I take this opportunity to thank everybody who has been with us in the earlier phase of our search. And that has not cost us anything at all, considering this happens to be the largest search in the history of aviation.
At the second phase,
Sorry?
So the actual cost for Malaysia will come.
Eventual cost? Eventual
phase.
cost will depend very much on how we proceed. It depends very much on the area that we're going to search. It depends very much on the assets that's available. It depends very much on the people and the countries that come forward to assist us with assets that are specific. But what is important that we have established since last week is to get the experts to actually identify the sort of assets that is required, the procedures in which we're going to deploy these assets, whether it's commercial, whether it's government, whether it's research, and getting as many people on board as possible. And I think that is something that we cannot decide today, because at the end of the day, the committees that are set up here in Kuala Lumpur will be replicated in Beijing. It is being done in Canberra, and if this is a seamless effort, I think that we will be on the right track. Transparent, efficient, and also able to achieve what we set out to do, which at the end of the day is to find MH370.
Okay, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude the session for today.
Thank you very
very much.